So we have seen in our last example how customer makes calls to fraud detection service. So our fraud detection service is running on 8082 and customer is running on 8081. So to check if our customer is a fraudulent or legitimate, it makes call to fraud detection service through a REST template. Using this REST template and get for object method, it makes call to fraud detection service. So this is actually I mean, only a single instance of fraud detection service is running, and customer service is also running on a single instance. But in actual real-time example, there there will be multiple instances of these services running as uh, number of users or popularity of our website grows. It we need to spin up multiple uh, instances of our service based on the load we need to serve. So so basically this concept is called as scalability. So in order to serve multiple requests of our growing users, we need to spin up multiple uh, instances of our application. So suppose our application user base grows, so we need to scale our fraud detection service. So currently it is running on 8082 and we have created one additional instance of fraud detection which is running on 8083. So in this particular scenario, when customer service calls to fraud detection service, uh, we need to introduce a load balancer mechanism or a service discovery mechanism in between in order to discover which instance of fraud detection service needs to be called. This service discovery mechanism allows us to do that basically. So how this service discovery happens, we'll see it in next slide. So on your left side you can see there are multiple instances of our customer and fraud detection services are running. So basically in service discovery they need to register. These are basically the microservices clients which needs to be registered with uh, Eureka server. So Eureka server here acts as a service discovery. So all the instances of customer and fraud, they will register with Eureka server. So next step is a lookup. So basically if customer wants to talk to fraud detection service, then customer will look up for if any of the fraud detection service available to serve its request. So basically customer will look up into Eureka server and Eureka server will basically find out the IP address and port number on which fraud detection server is running and returns it back to customer service. Then customer service connects to fraud detection service and makes it subsequent calls and gets the result out of fraud detection service. So this is how service discovery happens on a network when there are multiple instances of services are running basically. So we'll see in demonstration how this service discovery happens. So currently in our example, our customer service is running on port number 8081. So it will register itself with this Eureka server in this first step. Then next step, it wants to discover a fraud detection service to check if our registered customer is a fraud or a legitimate customer. So it will send out this service discovery request to a Eureka server. Then then we can see fraud detection service which are running on 8082 and 8083. They also register them against this Eureka server, and Eureka server will basically have their IP addresses and port numbers on which they are running upon. So in third step, uh, customer will ask for the fraud location. So this customer request will be either forwarded to 8082 or 8083. So based on load balancer algorithm which is there on Eureka server will select one of the instance of this fraud detection service and forwards this incoming customer call to either 8082 or 8083. And so and after this call is forwarded to one of this service, this fraud detection service uh, will send the output back to customer service. So this service discovery mechanism happens in this way on this Eureka server.